Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hungry People Podcast, the hungriest podcast in America. It is your boy, Michael Patrick Buckley. And guys, today is a special day. It is my co-host's 30th birthday. AJ, I just want to wish you a happy birthday. It's really awesome being able to do this amazing and influential podcast with you. To have a person that's twice, 3 times, 4 times my intelligence, to basically be my positive to my, or the negative to my positive. That's how you say it. Because I just feel like we have such, we offer so much, and we offer such different views, and we come at it from an awesome angle. And it's just really so awesome being able to share this podcast with you. And I just want to say that today on your birthday. And it's definitely a milestone, 30 years young still. This is actually episode 40 of our podcast, which is really cool. So anyways, AJ, happy birthday, dude. And welcome to the show, everybody.
Thanks, MP. I love you, man.
Love you too, dude. Cool. Well, hey guys. So AJ and I, we wanted to talk about what we're naturally designed to eat. I know this is a bit of a just another controversial topic that is around the internet nowadays. And I feel like it can be confusing for a lot of people because people might not know what to eat. I feel like you have your people who they just show up every single day by day. That doesn't even matter. They just go to the grocery store. They get whatever they like, whether they're overweight, underweight. It doesn't matter. They just show up and they get their food, and then they go home and eat their processed pizzas and their frozen burgers and whatever, and so you have those people who just don't even give a shit. They don't even think about what they're doing. They just go about their every day. But I feel like you have the people who are like really so, oh my gosh, zoned in on every little thing that they're eating. And they're so worried about like eating the natural way and what humans are supposed to eat. And just so like they pay the closest attention to detail as possible. And I think that's pretty good. I think like it's definitely good to care about what you're putting in your body. And I do believe that sometimes we can take it a little too far, and it's okay to like let go and just ease your way through life. Not ease your way through life, but, just take it easy sometimes. You don't got to be so hard on yourself. We're all so hard on ourselves. So yeah, AJ and I, we wanted to talk about some of this stuff today and bring some stuff to your attention and share some of our experiences and whatnot. So without further ado, AJ, what do you think we're designed to eat?
Well, MP, you know better than anyone, the stance that I take is more meeting the need in the moment or in the relatively short term. I think that works a lot better unless someone is succeeding with some hardcore rules. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's people who put rules on themselves to stay away from alcohol, to not, touch drugs.
Yeah.
There's these positive things. I think those are positive things. But then people do take it to somewhat of an extreme where they can never have a certain food or they can never be around certain type of people. And they just kind of get more and more into this box where they limit themselves from experiencing life.
Yeah.
And I definitely think it's, we both have experienced that. And I think that there is positives, but there's also negatives. And if you're someone who's succeeding and doing really well following these things, then I think that can be positive, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't think there is a one way that's best, but also there's definitely a lot of negative downsides. So we're going to dive into both of those today with different types of diets. So
right.
As far as what do I think the natural diet is,
like maybe not even like the natural diet, but like if you had to choose a couple foods that are out there that you like, honestly, that has nothing to do with evidence, nothing at all, just your thoughts, what you've experienced, what you've seen people go through, just stuff like that. I'm not asking for you to look at 39,000 peer-reviewed papers that show what humans have eaten over the past years. Like, but what do you?
I just read 38,000 to prepare for that.
Like, I want your unscientific, honest opinion about what you think, like what foods you think humans are naturally designed to eat, not in aside from meeting the need of the body, because I know you're all about that, but if just straight up, like, what do you think humans should eat?
Yeah. So if I'm taking no bias, I think that it is slight variety, not crazy variety like everyone likes to act like we do. I think we were designed to have some tender greens, have some berries and fruits. I wouldn't say we're like super tropical fruit people, like everyone says. I think that like the berries and more of the like the fruits that aren't in the tropics, I guess, like apples and berries and whatever. And then I do think meat, root vegetables like sweet potatoes, squash. I think those things have been proven to be our natural diet because that's actually how we evolved, not like we strayed from our evolution. And we mastered something else. We didn't master shit.
Right. Wait, did you say meat in there too, or no?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think meat's part of the natural diet.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah. No, I mean, I definitely can agree with all of that, and I think just from more of a natural perspective here, I feel like we kind of ate whatever we got our hands on, and obviously it's going to depend on your living circumstances. If you're living in a village and maybe you do have a garden or a place where you grow food, and what food is grown the fastest and grown the quickest, and what food is known to keep coming, and that's probably going to be like your starchy root vegetables. I feel like if I'm not mistaken, that the fruit trees actually take way longer to grow than just a potato or a sweet potato or any kind of vegetable. Now, and if we were just living in like a more natural time without all this technology and stuff and cars and whatnot, yeah, I mean, I definitely think that people would be hunting for their food, and we'd be a part of the game. We'd be a part of the hunting game, and but we also can't just depend on that for survival, because who knows if we're gonna get a catch. And I know Dr. Lyle talks about that sometimes, just through like some of his work,
And the way that Dr. Lyle opened my mind to all of it was he was talking about how the natural human diet isn't vegan, but he believes that it can be a superior diet in terms of ultimate disease outcome. What he means by that is we can burn both plant fuel and meat fuel, but it burns a little cleaner with plants. And if you're in a survival situation or you're not eating enough food, it's definitely going to be helpful to, let's say, eat the meat, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't leave behind some issues. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, it's funny because actually I heard this. I saw someone tweet this one day where they said that like you like eating the meat. It's obviously like we know that. I mean, once again, there's like positives and negatives to everything. And like people always talk about like the absorption of animal products, how it's like, oh, it's 100% absorbable. It's so bioavailable. You're going to absorb everything. So it's like, I think the tweet was kind of about like eating the meat is like, it's like good because of like the nutrients you absorb. But it's also bad because of all the bad that you absorb, and you absorb all the bad. And I feel like for some of us, we would say that the bad outweighs the good in that regard, especially if you're eating so much of it in bulk amounts, which a lot of people do nowadays. They just, that's like,
or
they don't know anything else,
or in like bad combinations. I think consuming crazy amounts of animal products with certain other things you're being exposed to is definitely a potential issue there.
Right. So, okay. And so I
think MP, you and I as vegans, we are pretty upfront and open about potential negative issues with the plant-based diet, or at least things that we see. But I would like 100%. To see more from the carnivore movement of them saying like, hey, yeah, you do get a lot of like chemical exposure or like toxins because it's building up in the fat, but they do the thing where they have to deny it all. Like it's all only good. And it's like, every side is going to have downsides.
Yeah. Right. And I'm really happy you brought that up too. Not just like today, but just in general in the past, where it's like no one's diet is perfect, and everyone's going to have their little issues that they're going through, their positives, their negatives. Um, so yeah, it would be really just freeing to hear them just say like, hey, there's also issues that you can get on this kind of diet, or eating too much meat, or doing this and doing that. But you're right. It's just like, eat fucking bacon fat. It's going to save you, So,
right. Well, even Jordan Peterson recently was talking about how he was on like a meat-based diet because that's what his daughter did to help with her autoimmune issue.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can't be social. All you can do, like,
yeah,
he
right.
obviously could be because you go to steakhouses and things, but he was saying like it's really difficult. And that's the thing, when you isolate your diet in one certain area, you become limited. And some people I do believe some people need to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
If I'm not giving medical advice or anything, but if I had a serious terminal illness, I'm not going to be eating like stuff with lots of chemicals and preservatives in it.
Yeah,
I'm going to take that extra step. So wherever you're at, you have to do that.
Right.
But you definitely have to recognize that there's plenty of people who don't eat anything unless it's organic and, whole food and whatever. And they're not doing well. And it's for different reasons, right? It's not just because of exposures.
Totally cool. So let's come back to the main point we have here. So I feel like we both sort of agree on what like a human is designed to eat. And people would say that like, oh, we're designed to only eat fruit and that's it. But it's like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Especially in this society, it's like, it's almost like the worst diet you can eat is like a fruit only diet. So, but I wanted to bring that up because if we are like designed frugivores and we're supposed to be like only eating fruit, then like, why aren't people succeeding on that? And I feel like we both know, it's like the fruit's not the best. It's being transported from thousands of miles away. And, sometimes it can be hard for people to shop locally, and the fruit's expensive compared to other foods. And there's just a lot of other factors. It's actually funny. For some reason, during one of Jordan's video, his videos have been coming up on my feed recently on YouTube, actually on our feed, on Hungry People feed. And the one video was, what's up?
The pizza one?
No.
I seen that you watched that.
It was the one of he has the cornflakes and he adds this like he just the pours sugar. Like all this sugar on it. Right. And like people like all of our YouTube like are making fun of him for that video. And he's like, oh, well, like what do I do when I don't have good quality fruit, or I don't have good quality this? He's like, oh, so I take the cereal and that's the starch, and then he's like, oh, we're designed to like eat sugar, like sweet sugar and whatnot. So he adds all this sugar, and then he says like, but also too, like you got to stay hydrated. And that's like a part of the fruit is like getting the water with the fruit. So then like, he's like, I have soy milk here and it's low in fat. It has like 1 gram of fat per whatever. And he pours that in. He's like, sometimes he says, I'll even add water in just to like cut more of the soy milk, So he's like, look, there you go. Now you have your sugar, your water, and you're staying hydrated while eating food. And like, I mean, I get it.
That's when he got kicked out of Woodstock.
Yeah, right. Right. It's a perfect time for the video to come up for this episode or before this episode, but like it's just like do you think, like, do you believe that though? Like, do you think that has any validity of like what he's saying there? Because I mean, you've seen the video. I'm not sure if you remember exactly what he said, but I mean, I pretty much summed it up.
Yeah, I've seen the video. I think that there's a huge level of truth in it, but again, I don't think it's just true or like just wrong. I think there's probably so many people out there that are fruitarian that if they had some like organic cereal, they probably do a lot better, right? But I do think that just doing that all the time, if you're not biking, it's just I would feel like shit.
Right. Yeah. So so definitely his athleticism and how he was moving his body is a big reason that he can do something like that too.
Any kind of physical movement or exercise that you do is going to help your insulin be more sensitive to absorbing the sugar. So the more you burn, the more sensitive your insulin's going to be.
Right.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah. So I sort of got off topic there, off question. So like if we are like from like what the fruitarians say and like the raw vegans say, how we're like naturally designed frugivores, which like you can even see that in our biology too, to some extent. That like I know carnivores be like, oh, like we have these canine teeth, but like where? We don't. Like I don't see that on anybody. You know, like our teeth, like even if we adapted to eat meat, like I feel like our teeth aren't necessarily designed to do that, and we don't have like even like I said on the Nucci episode, certainly have like claws to like scar through animals. You know.
Well, to be fair, I do think that the way that our brains evolved was to utilize our surroundings and our tools, and that was part of our evolution. So like I mean I get what vegans are saying, like we don't have claws, but well, first of all, we're not carnivores, we're omnivores, so you have to separate yourself in that way,
right?
But just because we could be designed to eat meat, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it's you have to survive.
Yeah, right. It's not
so necessary. Like we don't have to dive into this right now, but part of the topic that I want to get into is who gives a fuck if something's our natural way?
Yeah, right.
That doesn't automatically mean anything.
Right. Yeah, because what if it really doesn't work for you at all?
Well, that or just what if you can't make it work?
Yeah. Right. So then obviously then you got to find something that does make it that works for you and that allows you to feel good.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Okay. So are we saying that because the natural people, they're all against supplements. They're all against.
Yeah. Right.
They're against everything.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, if I was forced to be raw vegan and eat a raw vegan diet, I wouldn't do the most natural way. I do the way with tons of juice. I do the ones with like tons of Pyridine and gorilla milk and enzymes and
right.
I would do all of that stuff, which isn't the most natural, but I feel and like that way better.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's where it comes in. Who cares if it's natural? Obviously, we don't want things that are purposely going to hurt us.
Right.
We don't want hydrogenated fucking peanut butter.
With sugar garbage and salt added to that too.
Like, come on, the carnivores that think bacon is healthy, like shut the fuck up. It's full of nitrates. It's full of fucking crazy amounts of sodium. I mean, we have to live in reality.
Dude, I love that. I'm sorry. It's so funny.
And that's not even a slight against the carnivore. It's everyone that has all these ideals that they put up in front of other people that they have to live that way.
Right. Yeah, it's sad. It's I coach youth baseball. We've had some tournaments recently. And this one guy, one of the dads who I always talk to, after every game on Saturday, he's like, "Oh, you know what time it is?" I'm like, "Bacon and beer, I guess, right?" He's like, "You know it, man." Like, cause that's what he always says. Like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get my bacon and beer." That's like what he eats, and he has a gut.
But here's the thing: if he's like, "Hey, I just like bacon. I know it's shitty for you," then it's like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, right.
But walking around thinking Rice Krispie treats are healthy, or you know what I'm saying? Like these things, like Airheads. Do people walk around eating Airheads, saying M&Ms, "This is my health food"? No, it's ridiculous.
Right.
Like the processed people, which I'm a processed vegan. But like the processed people, they need to realize like some fresh food is good, but it doesn't only have to be fresh food. So it's
Well, I think this is actually a great segue into like talking about more processed food and eating that, because I feel like it can play a significant role in a healthy diet. And I feel like if you're so caught up on like eating whole natural foods and that's like all you care about, you could be missing out on eating at a certain time or doing this, or maybe you're missing a meal because, oh, well, I don't have this. I don't have, like, my fruit's not ripe, or I didn't make this today. Well, what am I going to do? I'm screwed, Well, so I think like having healthy processed food options that like you think are healthy and that are good for you, even if it was like Larabar bars, that's a processed food and pretty healthy.
Well, what's not fair is people do they recognize that, let's say eating a fruit diet, it is more inconvenient than just eating how you would normally eat. Not just fast food. I'm talking anything, right? Mm-hmm. So it is more inconvenient, but then you'll have people say, well, if it was a priority, you would make it work.
Yeah, right.
And all these people, they don't work jobs. They're
Right.
single. They're either in their 20s or they're in their 50s. And it's like they've dedicated their whole lives to doing that. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But there's something wrong with it when you're putting other people down who have 3 kids, single mom,
Right.
working 2 jobs to make everything happen. And it's like expecting them to, they would not be able to raise a family on fucking bananas.
Yeah, no.
There's no way.
Nor would I think that's healthy for a kid.
And they would look bad and their teeth would be awful, probably.
Yeah, right.
Like, I just feel as though like we're entering this time where people need to own up to like people own up to their own stuff now, which is good, but they're not owning up to giving people breathing room and space.
Yeah. Right.
And that's a shame because everyone's just trying their best. And I think people they either get overly excited because they have really good results and they're like wanting to tell everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or there's some of these people behind the scenes that feel really bad and they're just trying to like kind of fake it till they make it.
Right. Well, kind of like how on our episode with Jeezy, where he was saying like, I got some good news. I want to tell everyone my good news. Like, this is what you should be doing. Stop eating this. Start doing this. Eat more of this. And like, I get that. We all want to do that. I was like that when I first started. I'm like, wow, I just found like the coolest way to eat ever. Like, it's going to save you, Mm-hmm. And once you start doing it for a while and you start seeing some stuff, it's like, is it really true? And once you start actually educating yourself and just looking at your surroundings and understanding how the body works and stuff and stop being so ignorant, you kind of realize like, hey, maybe like you shouldn't be just only doing X and it's good to like do Y and Z.
Yeah. You wake up to the fact that there's more pieces to the puzzle than you thought.
Right. Right.
And I think that, so my view, from the limited view that I have, the people who have weight problems, they're the people that I see as going to be the most long-term successful with low-fat diets, whole food, plant-based, fruitarian, whatever, right. Just because they have more wiggle room when it comes to deprivation. But then you have people who are on the skinnier side, and I think that they're going to fare better with either more processed food or more meat, just because not even just calories, yes, calories, but also just you don't have to eat such huge quantities to get your needs met. Mm-hmm. Let's translate. If you were going to eat half a pizza, 3 slices of pizza, that could be like 15 apples. Who's going to eat 15 fucking apples? Like what normal person?
Right. No.
I mean, I've done it. I've eaten fucking 40 apples. It's like,
well, if people don't have time to just sit there and eat apples like that, even me, like, I guess I could,
but it's also stressful on the system. Like it can be, you know, like all that fiber, it's going to leave you the next day. Sure. But like, it takes a lot. Right. And like, do you want to stretch our stomachs every single day to like its maximum capacity? Well, so then or how do you want to eat like a sandwich and be good for 5 hours? Yeah. Right.
So then how do we come to our senses on that to where it's like, hey, it's okay to not just think that you only have to like have fiber in every single meal and that it's okay to like eat some fiber less foods. I even saw someone's YouTube video. They said like they started eating like grits or something maybe, or cream of wheat because it's like low in fiber. And just sometimes like you're just doing too much fiber, and that could be causing more like more good than harm. Like, yeah, we know fiber is good, but sometimes it's just like too much,
Right.
It's like working in like fiberless foods or even like more processed foods, like actually can be beneficial. I know someone who, she said that she was having like troubles with like her bowel movements and she's vegan and stuff and digestion. And she was like, oh, actually I started eating more like processed vegan and like everything started normalized again. And I feel so much better.
Right.
So I don't know. And I think we can like get into like the theories of like, like cleaning the body out and stuff and like the snake or whatever you want to call it, or the cesspool inside of you, like, I think like that has some relevance here to where it's like, hey, if you're having some issues here, like it's because of this, you can maybe you don't have to necessarily do the processed food. You could still do this, but you just got to like watch out. And that's that. And something like that, I feel like you got to talk to like a professional or someone that actually knows like how deeply the body works, you know, and can really help you and answer your questions. But it is just interesting seeing these people's experiences and what they go through, and then just kind of like thinking of for yourself, like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Because even myself, I don't want to be in that like realm of like cesspool, like thinking of like the snake stuff. It's just like, it's too open-ended. It's too like, it's never going to stop.
Never ending.
You're always going to have waste inside of you. You're always going to have this and that, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So,
and that's why earlier I said like, it could depend upon like what you're actually going through. With, what was I going to say? It had to do with the digestion, the snake. Oh, like, okay, if there was optimum conditions for a certain way of eating, I think that completely changes the game. You know, MP, I remember you and I were on a car ride. I forget where we drove. I think we drove to go hike somewhere. And on the way back, you were asking me like, hey, if you could eat, you know, without repercussions, how would you do it?
Right.
And I said, I'd probably eat like some type of Buddha bowl, like brown rice and like sweet potato and broccoli and something like that.
Yep.
And I do that twice a day so that I'm not thinking about food all day. And, you know, because when I've done that in the past, I felt really great before my digestion got super challenged. So like that would be really great. And if I felt good doing it, I probably would do it. But also if I lived in Kauai and I had, you know, some crazy amount of like awesome fruit and fresh produce and whatever, I'd probably adapt to that really easily and want to eat that. And then if I'm at Miami Fruit with you and we're riding bikes, I'd probably adapt to what they're eating. So
pizza.
Yeah. I think that's the relevance. It's like, what's going on in your life and how are you actually going to succeed and meet the challenges that are coming at you?
Right.
I think fruit diets can work. I just think that everything else has to fall into place.
Yeah.
You have to be really conscientious. You have to be really organized. You have to know fruit, like know, you know, when it's ripe. You have to feel satisfied on it. And then you do have to like lower your stress levels, because if you're crazy stressed, it's really, you're going to be way more stressed on fruit, I think.
100%.
If I'm eating a fruit diet, I can't handle, you know,
anything.
This thing falls onto my desk. I'm like having a panic attack. So, and like you're going to want to hang around people who also do that. So you limit like your family interactions, your friendship interactions. And some people, they need to do that because the fruit wakes them up to the fact that their family's toxic and their environment's toxic. So like, it's not all negative. It's just, how deep are you going to go into making that a priority? Right. Because I definitely think there's people out there that are doing great because of it. It's just totally. There's so many people that are trying to make it work when it's not working. And I want people to really think about that for themselves.
Yeah. That's really well said. And for me, like, I don't want to lose any of that with my family and friends. And I even spoken that in the last YouTube video that I made. That's why, like, sometimes it's just better for me, at least. I have a pretty solid gut. And I'd rather just enjoy the meal vegan with my family and friends, and instead of like just being so caught up in like, oh my gosh, there's this, that, you know, like, cause I like eating a certain way when I eat myself. That's what I do. You know, occasionally I'll go out to eat and stuff, but it's good to have like what you like to do. And then, hey, if you do go out or something happens, that's fine. Like, it's going to be okay. Like, you're not going to worry. Now I had a question for you. Crap. I just like, it was before I said that, it was on something that you mentioned. And I totally,
well, I just want to throw one thing in there that, there's this really good episode on Chef AJ where she interviews Dr. Lyle after she had Doug Graham on, and Doug Lyle said, or maybe this was on his Beat Your Genes podcast, but he says like, the human species consumed more carbohydrates from honey than it did fruit. And I just imagine all the fruitarians like, no.
Right. Well, I mean, honestly, I can imagine that the honey or the honeycomb is more available than fruit, perhaps. You know, that would honestly make decent, like, just like logically speaking, it kind of makes sense to me, you know. Now, how do we really know? you'd have to look at every population, every village, it's just too much, you know? So what's true, what isn't, I don't know if we're being realistic here. You know?
I went to Hawaii. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be easily find fruit. There's papayas and mangoes and whatever. And like the people who know what they're doing, they can find Dan McDonald, he can find the ramutans and climb the coconut trees. I'm like, the fucking tree is like 200 feet in the air. I ain't climbing that.
Right.
I ain't breaking my.
No, I mean, there's actually a guy who paralyzed himself, I think, from doing that, from climbing a tree and falling. Okay, now I remember my question. Now, so like with all this, like what we're naturally designed to eat stuff and what the human body is designed for, like where do you stand on like food combining? You know, because even doing like oats and fruit, you know, that could be tough for some people. Or I'll even give you an example. It happened yesterday, actually. Was it yesterday? Yeah. So I had some, once again, I coach baseball and I was coaching yesterday, and I had some watermelon before my first game in the morning. And then after, I wanted to get some work done and just kind of like hang out like at the park we were at. It was super nice, beautiful out. And I made a watermelon cherry strawberry smoothie, and it was so good. And I wanted to like have that after my game and do some work and just kind of like enjoy the scene and whatnot. Well, you know, sometimes life happens. So, people, the dads and the moms of the players are like, MP, like come out to eat with us. Like, let's go. Like, we're all going to go out to eat. Let's go share a meal together. Like, come on. And I'm like, I'm like, shit. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, of course, like they're getting in my way. Like this is of course this is good. Of course, going to happen. You know, I was like, all right, I'll come. You know, there's only 6 weeks of this being with you guys. I'll come enjoy a meal with you. So of course, like, where do we go other than IHOP? You know, like the worst place for a vegan. There's almost nothing vegan there. And I'm like, well, I'm not just gonna like not get something, you know. So actually it was like crazy timing because I'm like, I don't know what to get. Like I can't, like there's nothing I can get here. Like legit, there's nothing on the menu I can get. So I looked up real quick IHOP nutrition facts, and they actually brought me to a page of like, hey, this is vegan, this is vegan, this is vegan. There were like 7 things that were vegan on the whole menu. So I was like, I was like, hey, so this like is on your menu, but can I just do like it was like a rice medley. I was like, I get like the rice medley, hash browns, golden potatoes, and then peppers and onions and tomatoes and avocado on top. And she was like, yeah, cool. So of course they bring it out to me. There's cheese on it. They put cheese on it. I'm like, I was like, hey, I'm sorry, but I didn't ask for cheese. And she was like, oh, well, like you didn't, like what you ordered isn't on the menu, and I'm so sorry. I forgot. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, so she took it back, brought it back out. And it was pretty good. So anyways, I ate that and everything was fine. No one asked any questions to me. I wasn't like, hey, I'm vegan, everybody. Like, look at me. I'm not doing that. I just ordered and everything was normal and we're all good to go. So anyways, I finished up that and I go coach, we lose. I'm on my way home and I'm like, it's like 3:30 or so. And I'm driving. I'm like, man, that smoothie, like still in there. It was a 64-ounce smoothie. I'm like, it's still in there. And I'm like, do I eat it? It's kind of like it's almost dinner time. Like, is it even worth it? You know, like, and I just ate that meal. I mean, I didn't just eat it. I ate probably like 11:45, 12 o'clock ish. And this was like 3.5 hours later when I'm eating the smoothie, when I'm about to drink the smoothie or considering it. And I was like, all right, whatever, I'll do it. So I had about like half of it. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. Cause for me, there was a period of my life about like when I first got back into doing like just like really high carb and like really just like hitting it home, like during around stuff, like just carving up when I was just like eating so much. And I had to keep going and I was so hungry, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like finally past that to where like, I can just like, if I'm full, I'll stop eating, you know, and I know my portion sizes too. Like, hey, I can handle that good, whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm full. I'm done. So I stopped and then I set it aside for like 20, 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to finish it. You know, why not? And I did. And after that, I was like, what the heck? Like, it was hard for me to like breathe. Like I felt like a little bloated, which like hasn't really happened recently to me. And I'm like, what's going on here? And like, just in my opinion with what happened, I definitely feel like the smoothie just like digested so fast, and it like kind of caught up to the other food that I ate earlier, you know, like the more like the potatoes and stuff. And I feel like it just wreaks havoc in your gut, and it causes issues. And I don't know like the exact terminology to use, or all the bodily metabolic processes. I just kind of like, just my understanding is that like it hits each other and causes issues, you know, like for me, more like having trouble breathing, and it wasn't like that bad. Like, it's okay. And like some bloating, but that doesn't usually happen for me. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, this is annoying, you know? So that's why like, I definitely feel that food combining and eating a fruit diet, or like being so caught up in eating all this fruit, can definitely be an issue for people. And that's the perfect example of that. So that was a little long-winded story there, but
well, I feel like the food combining is almost like a hack, like can be hacked. So like if you're eating a fruit diet and it's like watermelons in the morning, bananas for lunch, mangoes and salad for dinner, like that's what you do. And there's relevance to that. Like if I'm doing raw till 4, I'm not having rice in the morning and then doing bananas all day. Like, I would feel like shit. But I mean, what I've noticed, unless you're just stuffing your gut with starch, if I have watermelon after I have cooked food or throughout the day, it improves my digestion so much. I don't know what anyone's talking about with melon belly.
Really?
Because like if you think about it, you're putting in this dry food, right?
Yeah.
That's like going to take a while to digest, or a little longer. And then you put some of the watermelon in there, and then all of a sudden it like reconstitutes it. So I think the reason why one of the reasons that people will see issues is because they're eating 10 fucking potatoes. Now you put anything on top of that, it's not going to digest well.
Yeah, right.
And then you're eating half a fucking watermelon after that. Like, no shit. But if you're using semi-normal portions, like I always say, if you have a sandwich and then 2 hours later you have some watermelon, it's going to kill you. Come on.
Yeah, probably not. No.
Dude, I had watermelon last night after dinner, and I had what I had for dinner last night. I think I had vegan burger or something, and potato salad. And then I had watermelon like an hour later, and out of bowel movement, I felt my stomach's flat.
Well, I mean, you have like the most epic metabolism ever. So
really. It's like a curse.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish I could just fucking juice fast all day, but be like overweight. That's my dream. That's my dream life.
Get fat off juice fasting. Yeah, AJ, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I feel like more people are going to get issues with like doing the watermelon after a meal than people being like, this is it's helping me so much. You know, I just don't see that as being.
But do you see what I mean about the volume?
Yeah. What I'm saying is that
volume. So
but even for me though, I didn't even have that much. Like, there wasn't that much food that I had. It was like a little bowl. Like, it wasn't like.
But MP, most people aren't drinking 64-ounce smoothies. Your average person's drinking like a 14-ounce fucking smoothie.
You're right. I did have a huge. It was a big smoothie. So.
And you were having like all that oil and that fucking hash browns and shit.
Yeah, right. So
I'm not saying it's a perfect fix, but I'm saying if you're eating a lot of dry food like bread and shit,
yeah,
and it's just like sitting in your stomach, I think that having some, because when you drink water, a good portion of that's going to go to your kidneys before it goes into your any like intestines or anything. But if you're eating watermelon and it's like combined with that fiber, it's going to get more into your gut and help hydrate the area a little bit. That's what I think. But you could do the same with an apple, and I don't think it works as well. If you eat one apple, I think it helps your digestion. You eat fucking 5 apples, now your shits are just overloaded with fiber on top of all that food, and now you're fucked.
Yeah, right. Now you gotta fast.
Yeah. At Woodstock, I see Rain always doing that. Like, he'll be eating pizza and stuff, and then he'll go eat a bunch of watermelon.
Yeah, he just does whatever he wants, I guess. well, like you said it best. He just knows his body, and he just never questions anything.
Right.
But yeah, you are right. I should have definitely just stopped after drinking half the smoothie and been done with it, and just save the rest for tomorrow. That would have been the best option, and maybe I wouldn't have had the issues that I had.
Maybe, who knows?
So and okay, so I just want to bring up one more question to you, Mr. Witt, Mr. 30-year-old birthday boy, about like enzymes and stuff. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen people on like a keto diet or a carnivore diet or like a meat centric diet, like taking enzymes or like having benefit with that. I haven't seen it. So now I wanted to get your thoughts on like why we see that more in the plant-based people versus like just normal people. Because I mean,
yeah,
people probably don't even know about it. You know, they probably have no clue. You know, and I mean, I have an answer myself, but I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Do you get my question that I'm asking?
Yeah, I think we touched on it earlier, actually, but because
you did mention it.
No, what I mean is because we said meat is so easily absorbed for better and worse, and plants have fiber, which kind of makes it a little more difficult to extract everything. So I think Drew Morg even calls the enzymes a cheat code because it's like he's against plants and fiber. So what the enzymes are going to do is just help break down, metabolize, and utilize the food that you're eating, whether it's meat or plants.
Right.
And you know, if meat's high in fat, high in calories, and it's easily absorbed for better or worse, because look at all the fucking overweight people who are eating tons of meat. But you know, it just so happens that there's going to be a lot of people that limit meat, and you know, they don't do so well, whether it's because they're under eating or they have some specific issue. But the enzymes are going to help to mediate some of the issues going on there because they're going to just make everything better. I would take enzymes with every meal every day if I had unlimited amounts of them, but they can add up. So
it is expensive. And I've done some time periods of the period of enzymes. They're epic. Like I can tell, I can notice a little difference. I remember being up in South Jersey with you, and I ate the pizza from Corolla's. It's just one of the square Sicilian pizzas.
Tomato Sicilian.
Yeah. And like people are always like, oh, well, like you don't get no cheese on it or meat. Like, of course you can eat it all. It's just vegetables and that. Well, like it's still a lot of food. And even if it was that on it, I still put it down because it was savage. So maybe next time I'll have to add my own vegan products to it and cheese. But I remember taking enzymes before eating that meal, and like, dude, it looked like I didn't even eat. It looked like I didn't even eat. It was 16 slices of a Sicilian pizza. I think I saw the picture. I'm telling you, it looked like I didn't even eat food. I don't know if it's on my phone or not. But it just goes to show you the power of enzymes. And if I'm not mistaken, like enzymes are used in like every metabolic function, or they're like a big part of a lot of cellular functions in our body. So it's like, why not give our body a better chance to digest and utilize the food by taking enzymes? And obviously getting high quality ones from Puradyne it's epic. Have you seen any other solid enzymes out there that maybe like are more affordable for people by chance?
I have taken the digest, the one at Whole Foods that I think the medical medium guy talks about.
Okay.
I've used those, and you don't have to use as many.
Okay.
It's more like potent, I think. Those work pretty well. They all, in general, digestive enzymes, I think, are pretty good, but the Puradyne ones are fucking awesome, and they taste amazing. They're like candy. I just fucking eat them.
Oh yeah, I can do that too. So I don't have the picture on my phone still.
The thing is, like, I have a hard time justifying using them unless I'm eating well. I know that for a lot of people that doesn't make sense, and even for myself, I think it's kind of silly because it's like you eat a bunch of junk food. It's better for you to use the enzymes, but I kind of consider it like a waste because I'm like, I see so much benefit when I use it with a green juice or something. So
Interesting.
yeah, because I think it was Lou Corona was like, do 10 or 20 with your lemon ginger blast, and it always just felt awesome. And then I don't really notice too much when I eat it with cooked food, even though most people it's the reverse. Most people don't notice shit when they eat well and do it right. But if they eat crap, they're like, wow, I'm not bloated and whatever.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, it is funny because like you would think that if you're eating like shitty food that, oh, let's enhance this.
Right.
Let's enhance my digestibility by taking enzymes. Why not?
It's also psychological. It's like, if I'm not doing everything good, I'm not going to do anything good.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Sort of.
I'm eating shit. I'm going to also stay up late. I'm also going to fucking fight with my girlfriend or fucking, I don't know. Like,
so
I'm not going to prepare.
Right.
But then when things are good, it's like everything's on. It's hard. It's hard for me to be in the middle.
Right. So for you, you're just one extreme to the next.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I'm so much fun.
Cool. Well, I think that's a good time to wrap up, AJ. Do you have any final thoughts or conclusions on what we talked about here today?
Yeah, what I want people to take away from this is to realize that I'm not telling you that a fruit diet isn't good. I'm not telling you that, meat is good or processed food is good. Not at all. It's all about what I'm trying to say is honestly look at what you're doing and ask yourself, are you getting the results that you want? Are you going in loops over and over and over again? Not because of your weakness, but because what you're doing is not working for you. It's not sustainable. Do you feel ill and bad for, weeks at a time because you're telling yourself it's just detox when really you're doing the wrong thing?
Yeah.
You should overall see improvement with slight decreases of having down days. So what does that look like? Wow, you're starting to sleep a little better. You could breathe a little better. You're a little less anxious, but maybe on the 6th day, you were just exhausted the whole day. I think that's a healthy way to look at health progression versus like, I'm just going to feel like shit for 3 years and then maybe I'll start to feel better.
Yeah,
Good choices add up quicker than you think, but also they do take time. So whatever you're doing, look at what you're doing and say, am I actually nourished? Do I feel as though I can participate in my daily reality? Or are you in a position, unlike most people, where you can sit on the beach all day, you can chill out and you don't have to fight with anyone, you don't have to work, and you could just eat a certain way, and that can be your whole world and your whole focus. And if you are, you're very lucky because you get to do that and not face what most people are doing, which is trying to live that extreme while at the same time being exposed to all the craziness that most of us are facing in life. And they're getting a double whammy of just losing their health and going insane at the same time, So I encourage you to do what you actually believe to be healthy and measure your results through how you look, how you feel, how you interact with other people. And nothing I said was a judgment. I want to encourage people to do what actually is working for them. And if you do that, I think that you start to move in that direction and be around people who encourage that instead of this mindless, zombie, follow this person because they said this, you're going to have a better outcome. MP?
AJ, you are the fucking best, dude. Wow, that was epic, dude. Dude, you're just rocking, dude.
It's all the wisdom for 30 years.
Yeah, you should be a psychologist. You should be on Beat Your Genes with Dr. Lyle. That's what I'm gonna advocate for, is for AJ to get on Dr. Lyle's Beat Your Genes podcast.
I've been on there.
Yeah, kind of. I guess
I called in twice.
But
now to come on here. So.
But anyway, that was beautiful, dude. Super well said. Now just the good old Brewer's final thoughts here. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it's pretty similar to what AJ said. Like, I definitely think that our bodies are more designed for eating a certain way, but I just think that you have to meet your need for what you're doing at that time, and it's gonna be different for everybody. And sometimes you may have to eat a food that you may not want to eat on an everyday basis, but it just happens. It is what it is. So I think it's always good to have backup plans I have a ton of frozen fruit. I always have dates on hand. I'm all about backup plans and just ensuring that, hey, if A doesn't work, okay, well, I'll go to B. Um, and with food, it's tough. It's with food, it's tough, especially with fruit. It's really tough because sometimes you just don't know if it's going to be ripe and if it's even going to be good. So yeah, but you can't beat yourself up. You got to live your life. You got to enjoy your life. And you got to find happiness within yourself and within your body, within how you feel and within how you look. So, I'm not going to get any better than what AJ said there. He's just too damn good. He said it so damn well. That's all I have today. AJ, once again, man, happy birthday, dude. 30 years old, looking great. You're feeling young, hopefully. And keep balling, baby. Keep doing your thing, man. I'm excited to see you grow, especially in car sales. I'm really happy for you, and just keep getting after it, dude.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Of course. Anyways, hungry people, thanks for watching the show. Thanks for listening to the show. Always a pleasure sitting here with one of my best friends, AJ Divka, and chatting about awesome health topics. Stay up, be great. Always keep it 100, baby.
Stay rich, don't be a bitch, and stay hungry.